You can make it here, sir, believe me.
You can do this. Just think about what you're trying to say to yourself. Your mother loves you, your family love you.
Imagine the life of your 2-year-old boy. How he's gonna survive. Imagine the 10-year-old boy, they need you, sir. They need a dad to be with them, to support them, sir. And if you're gonna die, who is gonna be their dad?
Thank you so much.
These guys have no obligation to try to save these guys' lives.
Thank you so much.
None.
Thank you.
I think you should get back in the car.
Can I just tell you something?
Sir, please.
You're one of the greatest men I've ever met in my life.
Thank you, sir.
And I also want to tell you...
You are the best man, sir, I've ever met. I never got a tip like this, sir.
I gotta tell you something else. There's cameras all over this parking lot, and we're filming a show, and you're one of the greatest guys I've ever met in my life. I'm out actually jumping. Nobody's jumping today. And if somebody was jumping, they wouldn't if you were beside them. You just saved my life.
Now the next guy's not going to confess. Cab driver was too invested in it.
Part of life that you will go through in your life, but you will be okay. Things will work out just fine, and your mother will be proud. She will be better. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting shit there. Here's another. This is a quick clip on a guy saying basically how to stop being depressed.
Suffering from depression.
Now, hold on here because this guy is advertising his website, and I'm gonna let it play because I think his message, although very short, is a pretty good one. And if it drives some people to his website and it helps him, well, then I've done no disservice. But I don't know him, and I'm not trying to push his brand. You just need to know that he's selling something. But hell, why not? I mean, if he can save lives, everybody else that's out there trying to make lives better selling something, so let him sell something too. He's going to mention his website.
It's said
that's all.
that
well, listen to what he has to
there are
say.
about 10 million people in the UK alone who suffer from depression and anxiety, and obviously it's something we get to deal with a lot at justbewell.com. Now, there are so many different forms of depression that it's a little bit difficult to generalize. And some of you who know a little bit about NLP might be thinking, oh, he's going to tell us he can cure depression in 5 minutes like it's a phobia. Well, I can't, and I don't know anybody who can. However, it needn't take months or even weeks, many, many weeks of work, because we work directly with the way that you think. Now, depression in and of itself is often, although it's horrible and powerful to be inside, not really complicated. People who are depressed tend to be doing the same kinds of things in their mind over and over again. They're remembering horrible times, they're looking forward to things going wrong, and very often when someone's deeply depressed, they can't see a solution. They look forward in their mind to the future, to next week, a month later, 3 months later, and they just don't see anything other than more depression. So in a sense, depression, like many things, is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you feel depressed, if you're thinking about things in a depressing way, if you're remembering being depressed, and if you're looking forward to being depressed in the future, then you're unwittingly kind of continuing to create the problem. Now, I know no one does.
Now, I got to interrupt him, and some of you guys already know this about the way I see it. It isn't always about defeating self-thought, okay? The people that say snap out of it don't fucking understand depression, because sometimes you cannot snap out of it. Nothing you think is going to change anything. But there are those people where kind words, understanding words, kind thoughts, realistic information about how you might escape through this dark time can help you. And for that reason, I'm going to let him keep going, but don't let him oversimplify depression. That's what amateurs do that don't understand the disease, and it is a disease.
Deliberately. No one wakes up in the morning and goes, am I going to be depressed today? Shall I think depressing thoughts, or shall I cheer up and look forward to life? It doesn't work like that. These are things that you've learned, albeit unwittingly, to do. And my job, or our job at justbewell.com, is to begin to train your mind to get out of this loop, because depression is like watching a TV program that you simply can't stand, but for some reason you can't stop watching it again. So what we do is we work to make you the director of the TV program, so that you're the one that starts to control your thinking and aim yourself. Now, I know that if you're suffering from depression, you've probably tried many different things through the years, maybe counseling, all sorts of different things. And one of the symptoms of depression is that the idea of being fixed or cured seems impossible. You go, well, I've tried this, it just hasn't made any difference. I've tried that, there's no hope for me. And naturally, people are skeptical, especially if they've been in therapy for 20 years. Here's another way that we're going to fix our depression. Oh, yeah. Well, the good news is that it is possible to get out of these ruts, to get out of these loops, to break the cycle of depression and begin to start thinking in ways that make you feel better and more resourceful. And this is true wherever it comes from, whatever the situation, whatever the past, whatever the cause of the depression. And whether there's a noticeable cause or a definite cause or not, it doesn't matter. Because however depression began, it became this loop, it became this self-fulfilling prophecy. So we don't talk to you about your past and how difficult life has been for you. We'll let the counsellors do that. There's nothing wrong with counselling. It has a very valid function. What we do is very different. We work directly with you to teach and train and recondition your thinking so that you more automatically begin to think in ways that make you feel better. And when you start doing that, then you begin to automatically start to look forward to a better life. And then your unconscious mind begins to guide you there. So it's very direct work, this. It's not beating around the bush. It's not listening to you going on and on. You've probably done enough of that anyway. This is pragmatic work, based upon what works. I've helped hundreds of people get through depression through the years, and I hope I can help you too. But it isn't just me. I have colleagues at justbewell.com all around the world that are trained and experienced in dealing with anxiety and depression. So I'm confident any one of us can help you. So do give us a call.
It's hard. Someone has not said to me, but could say, a person in a debate might say, I'm an atheist. I don't believe there's any real point to this life. I think life is random. It turned up, here it is. I've already created my offspring, or I'm not interested in creating offspring. Our main purpose is to replicate our DNA, fine. Now, life is 95% pain, 5% pleasure. Why the fuck should I hang around? How do you argue with that person? They're not going to believe in your God. They have decided that the pain outweighs the pleasure. How do you really argue with that person in a convincing way? You can't, there's a part of me that says, okay, go ahead, try to trick them, whatever you have to do to keep them alive. But to a genuinely intelligent person, they're not buying that brand. They gotta feel something. If the chemicals or the brain structure isn't the problem, they gotta feel something in your words. And there isn't a person that I know that is better at speaking than Les Brown. There may be somebody out there that's better than him, but of all the people I've ever heard speak in a motivational sense, he's got to be the best. And I think it's because he understands the pain. You can't have these. There are plenty of people in the past that have been motivational speakers that sucked ass because they haven't been through the pain, and you can't respect that. But you can respect them when they come from nothing. One of the first signs that someone's going to have problems later in life is when they're adopted. Because they can't shake that thought that they weren't good enough for their birth parents. It doesn't matter how many times they try to talk themselves out of it. Well, he was just in such a situation and born into poverty, born in the projects, given up after 6 weeks. He was adopted by somebody. She had 5 kids. She was always working. So he was told he was basically functionally retarded in the 4th grade and held back. He then failed the 8th grade and was actually pushed back to 7th. He never did get a college education, but he figured out a way to get through all this shit. And I like the way he handles motivation and motivational talk. Let's listen to what he's got to say. This is called Les Brown. Keep digging. You got to keep digging.
At some point in time, a transition take place. And the transition is what you are becoming in pursuit of the dream. Because even if you don't get the dream, you become such a strong and powerful person. It will so change your life, you can look at something else and say, well, I think I'll go do this then. Because you've now developed yourself in such confidence and such competence in how to deal in the arena of life that you can move into another area and not miss a beat. Once you begin to discover who you are, then you really realize how you have been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth, including all the dimensions of your life. But you can only do that through the struggle of life. And most people avoid the struggle. Most people go through life avoiding pain. And when you go through life like that, something in you dies. Something in you that you never activate is lying dormant in there, that you never get a chance to call on because you have not challenged yourself. Somebody said, the land of familiarity belongs to the dead. That most people like to feel like they're a king in the area of their comfort zone. They only want to do those things that they know how to do well. Osborne said, unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow. So if you want to begin to grow, you've got to put something out here that you can't reach easily, that has got to make you stretch, got to make you jump for it, got to make you get back a little bit and dig in so that you can take a leap for it. And maybe you jump up there and you miss it and you skin your knees and you come back again and you bust your lip next time. But you keep on, and through that process, you learn how to leap higher. You start challenging yourself to dig deeper, and then you discover some things about you that you don't know right now. Some talents that you have in you that you didn't know that you can do. I started out just talking to kids, and now I'm speaking at corporations. Now I'm traveling. I didn't know I can do this, but had I not given myself a chance, and I'm saying to you, give yourself a chance. Here's something else. If you want to begin to make your stuff happen for you, I think that it's very important that you start trusting yourself. Listen to yourself. Listen to that still small voice within you. Don't try and make everything logical. There's some things about life that defies logic, that you just can't explain how the outcome is going to be. I think that's why Paul said you've got to learn how to walk by faith and not by sight. That once you begin to trust yourself and your ideas and your instincts, life takes on a whole new meaning, because now I want you to do that feeling that you are led. Just feel, I am led. And don't give your power away. You don't need anybody to approve your dream. It was given to you. If they can't see it, it's because it wasn't given to them. It was given to you. Hold it, nourish it, cultivate it, work on it. It's yours. It's your baby. Work on it until it comes into fruition. I gave away my power, and I said, I'm not going to do that no more. Here's something else for those who make it today. Do what you know is right. Treat people like you want to be treated. Don't try and take any shortcuts. Don't try and cheat. Pay your dues up front. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, what goes around comes around. You can pay now, or you will pay double later. So do the right thing. There might be a tendency sometimes, because of the negative part of our consciousness and our own programming, for us to want to say, well, I'll just do it this time. It won't matter. Won't nobody know. Ladies and gentlemen, everything matters. And you know you're somebody. You know. I'd rather lose out on my dream doing the right thing than to cheat trying to make a shortcut to get to my goal. I want to be able to look myself in the mirror, and that's what you want to do. There's no saying, judge a man not by what he does, but by that he doesn't have to do. And to judge the true quality of a man is what do you do when nobody's looking. See, there's some good out there for you in the universe that has your name on it, and nobody can get your good. It has your name on it. They can't take your stuff. It's your stuff. So when you know that, when you know that whatever you're seeking, it's also seeking you, you don't worry. You don't run scared. You don't think somebody's going to take it from you. You listen to your inner voice, and you always take the high road. There will be the tendency, the natural inclination to take the low road. You must resist that. Here's something else I encourage you to do if you want to make it today. Keep your agreements. Keep your agreements that you make. And establish.
And the last thing I want to do is interrupt Les Brown. And I know this bothers Andrew. Sorry, Andrew, but I got to clarify a couple things, because we're dealing with depression and people who have been near suicide or whatever. And yes, I'm giving you a motivational thing here, but it's not so easy to do these things he's saying. And I need people that listen to this program to know I get that. keep your agreements, that's not always easy. You owe somebody money? Have you paid them back yet? Did you tell them you'd pay them back by